Hey guys, welcome to today's pump chat. So today we're not talking about a specific wearable pump. We're talking about a brand of wearable pumps. And the reason we're going to talk about this company as a brand versus an individual pump is that the issues with the pumps are actually related to the brand and their practices overall. So today we're talking about Momcozy pumps. So let's talk about where Momcozy started and then where they're at today and why these are things that you need to know before deciding if these pumps are for you. So this is an original Momcozy pump. These were very simple. It was wearable motors. They had this motor and then they had one that looked very similar to this that was round. The difference was one of them had two modes, one of them had three. They were functionally the same. They were incredibly cheap, like less than $100 cheap for many, many years. And they just sat on generic plastic cups. These were incredibly, incredibly generic. There was nothing special about them. Uh, they were okay for the price point. When you bought them, though, you understood that you were buying a very cheap wearable and it was essentially disposable. And I know that sounds really weird that we would consider a pump to be disposable, but the warranty coverage with Momcozy has been an issue since all the way back to at least 2019. I don't remember when they actually hit the scene. They were around in 2019, but they were, this obscure, cheap, disposable brand. You bought these if you couldn't afford one of the different ones. You bought these if you wanted these cups because there was an adapter shortly after these hit the market that you could get for this. But this was fairly simple. It did the job. It's kind of a clunky design. These are hard to actually wear in a bra, and the reason for that is that most bras, if properly fitted, come right up to here. So we would see a loss of suction related to the bra actually causing this to flex away from the cup, or we would have issues with the bra putting pressure on the motor and forcing it down. When the bulk of your mammary tissue is down in this bottom part of the breast, if your pump is being forced down, it's actually acting like a roadblock. So these were not, they were popular because they were cheap. They weren't popular because they were good. But then what Momcozy did a couple years ago is they launched their Pro line. And that started with the S9 and S12 Pros. I don't actually hate these pumps. They did redesign the cup and I think they made it a lot more stable. So I just showed you how that other one sits on there. Now it sits on a tube that is firmly in the motor. So some of that bra fit issue is alleviated by the fact that if I put pressure here, it's not as likely to cause a loss of suction. You have to really work at it. It is weighted a little bit differently and it's easier to keep in position on the breast because they did this double seal, which I actually do like these cups. In terms of cup flanges, this is a huge advancement. It has this nice strong seal which alleviated some of the leaking issues that we saw. These two, the S9 and S12 Pros, they're fairly comparable. It would really just depend on what price you wanted. They're fairly equal. They both have fairly good cycle speeds, really good suction. The issues with these are that these are little teeny tiny motors. Everything you need for your pump is up in here. So it's really vulnerable. So if you had warranty coverage, then you just know that you're going to have to swap out your motors periodically, which is the same thing we see with the more expensive brands. We tell you that pumps like Willow Go, even at that higher price point, you're going to use the warranty because it's not if they're going to die, it's when they're going to die. So these die. It's just the harsh reality. While they're working, these are reasonably strong performers. You do have to keep flange sizing and bra fit in mind, which is a little bit of a challenge because Momcozy also sells their own bras that I would tell you, while they fit with wearables temporarily, do not seem to last more than 30 to 60 days unless somebody is truly maxing out the size chart and is able to keep it tight enough that it's squished into their breast tissue and they get lucky. Overall, their bras, not super great. They're ones that are designed for nursing actually do better with the wearables, and they're ones that are designed for pumping. So they're cheap motors. Momcozy's kind of an all-in-one company these days. So they're selling lots and lots of different things. They're selling bras, they're selling baby bags, they're selling a dishwasher kind of countertop situation for your bottles. They're selling sterilizers. You name it, Momcozy probably sells it in the baby realm, which is a problem because you cannot be a jack of all trades and be a solid pump company. But I wouldn't tell you that this is a solid pump company. Then Momcozy has decided that they're going to branch out away from, this is fairly standard technology. But then Momcozy kicked out the Momcozy M5, which is not standard breast pump technology. It doesn't even look like it was tested properly. Because who has nipples that only stretch that much? Maybe 1 to 2% of the population? Unless their entire tester group was a true inelastic flat nipple, this should never have been allowed past the testing phase. This pump is responsible for a lot of nipple damage. It is responsible for a lot of lowered supplies. We'll link below a video on breast pumps that push, not pull. When you use this pump, it describes that it's not pulling at the nipple aggressively because it feels more like it's pushing back into the tissue. It's almost like the suction pattern has been altered. We don't really understand how they did it, but they did it. A couple other pumps did it, but the goal is to allow them to use a low profile pump, which is something moms want, while not having issues with elasticity. But it hasn't worked. This pump does not work like it is supposed to. If you use this fairly regularly, you will kill your supply. Not because it's a wearable, because it's a really crappy design that doesn't belong on lactating breast, period. But why is this pump so popular? The reason for the popularity of the Momcozy is going to go back to social media. So a lot of companies have what we call affiliate programs. It means that you can apply to get a code that is going to give your customers a percentage off, but it also gives you a part of the sale. And it's not an inherently unethical situation. There are lots of pumps behind me who have those. The two that I can see right now are Baby Buddha and Pumpables. They both have affiliate programs, but it's very flat, low commission rates. So you're not going to make your income off of selling these pumps. With Momcozy, what they do is they do offer very lucrative deals. So you're getting a much higher percentage point. There have been rumors that it's somewhere between 30 to 50%, depending on who the influencer is. What that tells me is that that is a problem. Because if I tell you, hey, you should go buy the Zomi Fit, and you can make $20 if you, like, I can make $20 if I tell you to buy the Zomi Fit with my code. If I tell you to buy the Momcozy and I can make $50, which one do you think somebody whose income is reliant on your sales and your purchases is going to recommend? Money speaks, and that is how Momcozy has managed to kind of sweet talk their way with these influencers. And if you look at the content that people are doing for the Momcozy, it is almost always somebody clicking their nails on it. I don't know why that sells, but it does. They're clicking their nails on it. They're showing you the pump. They're reading you the stuff from the manual. They're not telling you anything that's not available in the manual. And then they're showing you a really full pump, and then they're pouring it. And do you know why that works? Because we get a dopamine hit watching a full pump because we are hardwired to want to see milk. So they are literally tapping into how they can convince you that this pump is going to solve all your problems if you just give them your money. Are all pump companies doing that? Yes, to some degree, but Momcozy is one of the worst that I have ever seen out there in terms of really suggestive marketing. They're exploiting moms, they're exploiting moms' vulnerabilities, and they're doing it by using influencers who are reliant on that income in order to support themselves. This is not a solid company. Now, what happens if you buy the pump and then you go to issue the warranty? I bought all of these pumps brand new. I've had many Momcozy pumps. Probably went through 4 generations of their original ones because they die. When you call them or you email them for the warranty, it is luck of the draw. 25% of the time you can get somebody to honor the warranty. The other 75% of the time, they either straight up ignore you, they lie and tell you that you don't have a warranty, or they request to see your coverage and then act like they can't see the attached documents. They come up with any number of things. They don't honor their warranties, and wearables are really vulnerable, especially if you're using them more than a couple times here and there. They're likely to die fairly quickly, like within 60 to 90 days. So you get these pumps, you've spent this money, and they're really not that much more cost effective than buying one of the bigger brands. And Momcozy's kicking these out at a rate that it's not possible that they're properly testing them, properly designing them, and creating high quality products at this price point. It is just simply not possible. And they've just kicked out another one. The M5 is still fairly new, and now they've kicked out the M6. I do not have the M6 yet. I am waiting for it to be shipped to me. I've had issues getting that order to actually be fulfilled properly, but that's typical with Momcozy. So I'm waiting to see that one. That one does have the potential to maybe be better than the M5 because the biggest issue with the M5 is the inserts, and you can't really get a good fit of insert in here. Based on their marketing material, the Momcozy, it's the M6. It's also, I think it's be called a mobile style. I don't know. They did some weird campaign where they had people name it and came out with this mobile style name, which makes no sense because almost all of their pumps are mobile. It's been years since I saw them have anything truly not mobile. Even their V1 and V2, which are their more traditional motors with cups, are still designed to be portable and wearable. So it's whatever. But the marketing material does look like it might have a slightly longer tunnel, but people are rushing out to purchase it. We have no idea. They're kicking it out so fast from the time that they said we're designing a new pump to the pump being on Amazon. It's not long enough to truly have it. We don't have the information from the FDA approval on the pump yet because there seems to be a timeline lag where other companies, their FDA approval date precedes when they market it. But for Momcozy, they like to kind of backdoor it in with the FDA, and they have the approval based on the motor that may have been, 5 years ago, which is allowing them to kind of kick out these pumps. All in all, Momcozy is going to be on my I do not recommend it list. If you have it and it's working, that's great, but I would have an exit strategy for what are you going to do when this pump stops working. If you're using one of these two with the faster cycle speeds, or we could have a problem is that you can't just run out and use any other pump if you've trained your body to these speeds, because these have a good combination of higher cycle speeds and higher suction. While these work, these are not bad. I don't inherently dislike them. If Momcozy would get their act together with their customer service, I would probably put these on the maybe list. They have the potential to be a maybe for me, but they're a no because of the customer service. This is a no because of the technology. We don't need technology that is going to undermine us. And any company that asks you to spend a large amount of money for a pump that you should only use once or twice every now and then to protect your milk supply, come on. We don't do that. And that is what these influencers are hiding behind to not have to take accountability for recommending you crap pumps. Is they're telling you, yeah, give Momcozy your money, which is essentially saying give me some of your money too. But then don't really use this pump very often, because if you do, it's going to be your fault that there's an issue. It's not your fault. If you're using the M5 and your supply is falling apart, it's not your fault. It's the pump. It's right up there with the Medela Max Flow where it's not you, it's the pump. So that is my spiel on these Momcozy wearables and why they're just not going to make my recommendation list. The S9, S12 Pro, it's a strong maybe, but I just can't recommend it with the customer service. We'll see what I think about the new Momcozy mobile style. If you are interested in that pump, be sure to hit subscribe and follow so that we can get that video out to you. It should be here hopefully by the end of next week. And then I will have that data shortly thereafter to kind of share with you what the thoughts are and what the potential ramifications of this could be. But it does appear for all intents and purposes it's the same type of technology potentially as the M5. So there's a good chance it's one of those push not pull pumps, in which case it could be putting your supply at risk. So definitely stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions, please just post them below. And if you need recommendations for a better wearable, almost any name brand would be better than this. So hopefully that helps, and happy pumping.